A phantom hitchhiker is said to haunt this lonely stretch of Route 66. For nearly a century, drivers between Oklahoma City and El Reno have reported seeing a hopeful traveler on the roadside, who, depending on who you ask, either vanishes as they approach or gets into the car before disappearing just before the destination. And stories like this exist all over the world, but they've become especially common along the Mother Road. So is there something about this legendary highway that makes it uniquely susceptible to urban legends? Or could there actually be a ghostly voyager looking for company? To find out, we took a drive down Route 66 to investigate for ourselves. You wouldn't see another person until you got to like El Reno proper.
Yeah, even back then, it's still not.
Oh my God. Hold on, did you see that?
Yeah, what the was that?
Okay, I'm turning around real fast.
Yeah, I'm into it.
There are two main versions of the Route 66 Phantom Hitchhiker story in Oklahoma. The first centers on the stretch between Oklahoma City, Yukon, and El Reno. Drivers report seeing a lone traveler on the shoulder, sometimes so suddenly that they fear they're about to hit him, only for the figure to vanish at the last moment. Beyond that, the details are thin. A second version appears just west of El Reno, heading towards the town of Weatherford. In this telling, the hitchhiker is described as a hunchback wearing a trench coat. And once again, drivers say that he appears suddenly before disappearing just before impact. Others claim they've even stopped and picked the man up, only for him to mysteriously vanish from the car somewhere along the drive. And again, the details are light. But what's striking about these stories isn't the details, it's that nearly identical versions have been reported on roads all over the world. So, to understand why it found a home here, we started where so many Route 66 journeys begin, on the road itself. So we are currently in Arcadia, Oklahoma, at a place called Pops. Our plan is to drive through the old Route 66 here in central Oklahoma, starting in Arcadia, going through Oklahoma City, and then once we reach the stretch that goes from Yukon to El Reno, we're gonna just go back and forth because that's where the legend is said to occur. That's where the people say that they have seen the Phantom Hitchhiker until we either see something or have decided that nothing is going to happen. Stories like this aren't unique to Oklahoma or even to Route 66. The details may change depending on where you are, but the basic structure remains the same. In one of the most common versions, a driver picks up a passenger late at night. Sometimes the passenger offers quiet advice to a driver navigating a difficult moment. Other times, the passenger says nothing at all. Either way, when they finally reach the address the hitchhiker provided, the passenger has mysteriously vanished. An added twist comes when the driver decides to knock on the door, only to be told by whoever answers that the person they described died years earlier. In other tellings, there are slight variations, a coat left behind or an ominous warning before a crash. Sometimes the roles are even reversed. The stranded traveler is picked up by a driver who later turns out to have died years earlier, a variation that was made popular by songs like Phantom 309 and movies like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The details change, the roles shift, but the structure of the story stays the same. A brief encounter on the road, followed by the realization that one of them was never supposed to be there at all. And if versions of this story appear everywhere, across different places, eras, and even forms of media, the question isn't why it exists, but why it keeps finding a home on roads like Route 66. Alright, here we are. So here's what I'm thinking we should look for. Let's look for, obviously, the Phantom Hitchhiker, but also because the story is that, or one of the stories is that a lot of times people think they see a hitchhiker and then they disappear. Is there anything that people might be mistaking for hitchhikers, right? Like a mailbox that, with like the combination of the trees around it look like a figure.
Anything that looks humanoid on the side of the road that wouldn't be when you turned around and saw it from the other side.
Yeah. Just anything that we could say, I could see how people mistake that for a person. For much of the 20th century, this highway was one of the most heavily traveled roads in the country. It carried families heading west during the Dust Bowl, soldiers returning home from war, tourists, truckers, and long-distance travelers driving late into the night. Route 66 wasn't just a road, it was a shared experience, repeated millions of times by people who often didn't know where they'd be sleeping or what they'd find at the end of the drive. And when a place already feels legendary, people arrive expecting a story. In time, a story was created, or more accurately, co-opted, to fill that gap. especially on long, quiet drives where the road stretches on, uninterrupted, for miles at a time. And when your mind is already worn down by miles of straight road with little to look at, it doesn't take much for an ordinary moment to be remembered differently. A shadow, a reflection, a figure at the edge of the headlights. And once a story takes hold, Route 66 does what Route 66 has always done. It carries forward. To look for the Phantom Hitchhiker, we ended up making several trips down Route 66, keeping an eye out not just for anything unusual, but for anything that could be mistaken for it. Like, imagine you're driving through, it's 1975.
Oh, dude.
You wouldn't see another person until you got to, like, El Reno proper.
Yeah, even been back then, it's still not.
Oh my god.
What the fuck was it?
Hold on, did you see that?
Yeah, what the f was that?
Okay, I'm turning around real fast.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay, now though, if I'm driving on the road and I don't know what the f I'm seeing, I think I just saw some giants.
No, what? Let's go see how old that is.
Okay, where was it? It was like right up here. Like right up here. Not very far at all, right?
Yeah. Go ahead and get your window down. It's like, what? Yeah, right? Are they crosses?
No, I think they're like people statues.
It's right before that building.
I'm gonna slow down a little bit, but we do have something behind us.
Here they are. Here they are.
There it is, yeah. That's weird. It's like a lumberjack of some sort, maybe, and then a woman, and then a milkman? Okay.
Well.
In general, the road was kind of boring. There's new development on the east side of El Reno, plenty of industrial buildings, and mile after mile of straight road. Past El Reno, there's very little at all. At times, the only lights came from our own headlights. And with nothing to distract you on a long straight stretch like this, it's easy to see how your eyes and your memory might start playing tricks on you. By the time we were ready to make our final drive down Route 66, we hadn't seen anything out of the ordinary, but that raised a different question. If the Phantom Hitchhiker is supposed to be a ghost, wouldn't this be exactly the kind of place where ghost hunting equipment might make sense? So, on our final drive, we hooked up a spirit box to the car stereo and listened as we drove, curious to see if anything would come through from a spirit that may or may not have decided to ride along. Alright, we got the spirit box. I'm gonna turn on the aux like it's 2007, so that we can hear it.
My favorite music.
There we go. So we're just gonna let that go, I guess, as we drive. Phantom Hitchhiker. Oh, okay. See, like, with the spirit box, I hear, like, noises, but, like, translating this into a word, I don't understand how people do it so easily, like, in some of the videos I watch.
Yeah.
Evil.
Evil?
Ah, okay. Phantom Hitchhiker, are you in the car with us right now?
Maybe.
Holy shit. I heard that. Wait, are there multiple Phantom Hitchhikers on Route 66? They're all? They're all? They all? Something like that? Last chance, we're basically there. Any final messages you would like to give us if anybody's with us?
Wait.
What was that?
That was odd.
Not a chance. All right. Goodbye. In the end, we didn't see a phantom hitchhiker on Route 66. No figure in the headlights, no stranger on the shoulder. But stories like this don't survive because they're easy to prove. They survive because they're easy to imagine. And if you ever find yourself driving a long, dark stretch of the Mother Road late at night, with nothing ahead of you but empty pavement and your own headlights, keep an eye on the side of the road. Because even if you think you see someone standing there waiting for a ride, you may still be the only one truly traveling that highway.